I was balancing a warm grocery store sheet cake on my knees when my mother leaned into the microphone and called my daughter the stupid one, and I stayed quiet while something inside me cracked. Everyone laughed like it was a harmless joke. But why did my father already have an envelope in his hand, sealed and waiting, like this humiliation had been planned? My name is Waverly Hart. I am 38 years old, and I work as a claims adjuster, the kind of job that teaches you to stay calm while people swear they are telling the truth. My daughter Noel was 12. She sat at the kids' table under the balloon arch, shoulders curled in, staring at the plastic tablecloth like it might hide her. Across from her sat my sister's daughter, Delilah, same age, loud smile, perfect hair, the kind of kid adults call impressive before they even know her. Delilah could do piano by ear. Delilah won spelling bees. Delilah was the family story. Noel had dyslexia. Reading was not a straight road for her. Letters slid. Words flipped. She fought every page like it was a steep hill in a storm. She never stopped trying, though. She just learned to hide how hard she was working because my parents treated struggle like a character flaw. The party was for my parents' anniversary. 40 years, my mother kept saying, like it was a medal she had earned by surviving the rest of us. They rented the back room of a country club and filled it with cheap flowers and expensive opinions. The adults drank. The kids poked at cupcakes. I watched Noel do her quiet trick, the one she did when she felt judged. She made herself smaller. Then my mother tapped her glass with a fork. That sharp little ping sliced through the room. She smiled at the crowd, chin lifted. We want to thank all of you for celebrating 40 beautiful years with us. My father stood. He did not look at me. He looked straight at Delilah like he was staring at the future he wanted. We have been thinking about legacy, he said, about what we leave behind. My stomach tightened. I already knew where this was going because my sister Rowan had been texting me all week with fake sweetness. She kept saying things like, "Please do not make tonight awkward," like I was the unpredictable one. My father lifted an envelope. We have established a trust, and we have decided our granddaughter Delilah will inherit the family lake house and the trust fund. Applause erupted. People smiled like they had just watched something inspiring instead of something cruel. My sister Rowan clasped her hands to her chest like she was watching a proposal. Delilah stood up and did a little wave, soaking it in. Noel did not move. She just blinked fast, and I saw that familiar shine in her eyes, the one she tried to swallow before it fell. My mother tilted her head toward Noel. Now, we love both our granddaughters, of course, but Delilah has shown real promise, real intelligence. She will do something meaningful with what we built. I felt my face go hot, then cold. I looked around the room and realized how many people were watching Noel now, watching her reaction, watching her be compared. My father chuckled. Noel is sweet, but let us be honest, she is the dumb one. He said it like he was stating a fact about the weather. Noel pushed her chair back so fast it scraped the floor. She ran toward the hallway, one hand over her mouth. I heard the bathroom door slam. A second later, I heard her crying, muffled and sharp, like she was trying to be silent even while breaking. I stood up. Rowan grabbed my wrist. "Do not make a scene," she whispered. "They are just being practical, you know how they are." That was the first twist of the knife, because she was not shocked, she was not embarrassed, she was relieved, like this was the night she had been waiting for. I looked down at her hand on my wrist and gently removed it, finger by finger. I did not raise my voice. I did not glare. I just smiled the way I smile at angry callers who think volume equals power. "Okay," I said. Rowan blinked. That was not the reaction she expected. I picked up my phone from the table, not to show anyone anything, just to hold it. My thumb slid to the camera without me thinking. I walked toward the bathroom, slow, like I was headed to refill my drink. In the hallway, I passed my father. He leaned close and murmured, low enough that only I could hear, "This is for the best. You have to accept reality." I nodded, okay. Inside the bathroom, Noel was bent over the sink, shaking. She looked up at me with mascara tears, like she was already apologizing for existing. I wrapped my arms around her. You did nothing wrong, I whispered into her hair. Not one thing. She swallowed hard. Mom, am I dumb? My throat burned. No. But Grandpa said it, she whispered. He said it in front of everyone. I held her face in my hands and made her look at me. Listen to me. Your brain works differently. Different is not dumb. Different is powerful. It just scares people who only respect what they understand. She wiped her cheeks with the back of her hand. They do not like me. I kissed her forehead. They do not know you, and that is their failure, not yours. When we walked back into the room, the party had already moved on. People were eating, laughing. Delilah was being hugged by aunties like she had saved a puppy. My mother looked at Noel, then looked away fast, like avoiding eye contact could erase what she did. My father raised his glass again, to legacy. I sat down. I did not confront them. I did not argue. I did not throw the cake. I watched. That is the second twist people did not notice. Because while everyone was distracted by applause, my father slid that envelope into my sister's purse. Not Delilah, not my parents, into Rowan purse. Like the trust was never really for Delilah, it was for Rowan. I kept my face smooth and my shoulders relaxed, like nothing mattered. Then I excused myself and walked toward the coat room. Behind the curtains near the service hallway, I heard Rowan speaking to my mother. Her voice was sharp, excited. Once it is signed, Victoria cannot do anything. The lawyer is coming Monday, you promised. My mother hissed back. She will explode if she finds out. Rowan laughed quietly. She will not. She always tries to keep the peace. And Noel is not exactly a threat, is she? My hands went numb, not because it hurt, because it clarified everything. They were not just favoring Delilah. They were locking Noel out on purpose, making sure my daughter stayed small so they could call it fate. I walked back into the room with my calm smile and my phone in my hand. I sat at the table, opened my notes app, and started writing down every detail I had just heard. Word for word, time and place. The way I do at work when someone lies and I need the truth to stand up later. Noel leaned close. Mom, can we go home? Soon I whispered, I promise. She nodded. But her eyes kept flicking toward the gift table where my parents had displayed framed photos of Delilah. Piano recitals, award certificates, smiling poses. There was one photo of Noel, tucked in the corner like an afterthought, her school picture from years ago. She looked younger in it, still hopeful. Noel reached into her small purse and touched something inside, like she was checking it was still there. My heart skipped. She had been holding her purse like a shield all night. What is in there, sweetheart? I asked softly. She hesitated. Then she whispered, I was going to show you later. I did not want Grandpa to see it. My fingers tightened around my phone. Show me now. She pulled out a folded letter, official paper, heavy seal, not a school flyer, not junk mail. At the top, I saw the words Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And before my mind could even catch up, my father stepped to the microphone again and said, one more thing, because the trust is conditional. The room leaned in. Quick real-life pause. When I am editing these late at night, I get tired, and your comments are what keep me going. Hit like, subscribe, and tell me your city, state, or country. All right, now let me take you back. My father lifted his chin like a judge reading a sentence. The trust requires the chosen granddaughter to attend our selected preparatory academy next year. Full-time, boarding. I felt the blood drain from my face, because Delilah would never go alone. Rowan turned and looked straight at Noel. And in that moment, with Noel's letter trembling in my hand, I finally understood what the envelope was really for. My father's words kept hanging in the air, heavy and smug, like he had just solved a problem nobody asked him to solve. Boarding, he said again for emphasis. Structure, discipline, the right environment, we want to set her up for success. He did not say Delilah's name. He did not have to. Rowan tilted her head, performing concern. It would be so good for her, she murmured, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. A fresh start. My mother smiled at the room, like they were all in on a sweet surprise. "It is an amazing opportunity," she said. "The best academy in the state. The kind of place that makes winners." I looked down at the letter in my hand, the one Noel had been protecting like a secret heartbeat. The top line blurred for a second because my eyes filled, not with tears, but with rage that was so clean it felt cold. Noel pressed close to my side. "Mom, what are they talking about?" I smoothed my palm over her back. "Just breathe, baby." My father continued, warming to his own speech. "And the trust will be administered by your mother and me, of course, until the beneficiary turns 18. Standard practice." Another applause wave. Another round of approving nods from people who did not understand what they were clapping for. Because this was not about education. This was about distance. Take Delilah away from her mother for a few years, and she would still be Delilah, still fed and praised and cushioned. Take Noel away from me, and she would be alone inside a system my parents controlled. A system where paperwork mattered more than truth, where a child could be labeled and filed away with one sentence. Rowan leaned in and whispered, almost sweetly, "You should be grateful. She gets a chance to improve, to catch up." Catch up, like my daughter was a broken appliance that needed repair. I nodded once, "Okay." Rowan blinked again, confused by my calm. She wanted me loud. She needed me loud. Loud mothers look unstable. Loud mothers lose credibility in front of lawyers. I turned to Noel and lowered my voice. "We are leaving in 5 minutes. Go wash your face and then come back to me. Do not talk to anyone alone, not even Grandma." Her eyes widened. "Okay." She slipped away, small and quiet, and I felt my chest tighten as I watched her go. The worst part was how practiced she looked, like she had learned that the safest way to survive was to disappear. I kept my face neutral and walked toward the bar, like I needed water. As I passed the service hallway, I angled my phone toward my purse and tapped the recorder. No dramatic gestures, no accusations, just a calm finger and a quiet red dot. Then I did something my family never expected. I went to my father. He was laughing with 2 of his golfing friends, basking in praise. When he saw me approach, he straightened like he was bracing for impact. He wanted the fight. I gave him a soft smile. "You're right, Dad. Structure matters." His eyebrows lifted, finally. I lowered my voice, warm and agreeable. "I just want to understand the terms so I can support the plan. Which academy is it exactly? Who is the administrator? And what happens if the child does not attend?" My father relaxed. He loved being consulted, loved feeling like the authority instead of the villain. He waved his hand. "It is Ridgeview Preparatory. And if she does not attend, the trust stays in the family account until we decide what is best. We cannot reward a child who refuses opportunity." There it was, not a gift, a leash. I nodded slowly, letting him talk. "And the house," I asked, "the lake house is included with the trust." Rowan went still beside him. My father glanced at her, then back at me. "It will be transferred to Delilah when she is older, but we will manage it until then. Taxes, maintenance, all of it. It is complicated." Complicated meant hidden. I smiled again. "Of course. One more thing, you said Monday a lawyer is coming." My father frowned, suspicious. "Who told you that?" I kept my voice light. "I just overheard there is paperwork. I do not want misunderstandings. I want to be there so we can all do this properly. For the family." For the family. The phrase my mother used like a weapon. Rowan cleared her throat. "That is not necessary." I turned to her, polite as glass. "It is my child being discussed. I will be present." She opened her mouth, then closed it because we were still in public, still in front of guests. She could not show her teeth yet. My mother appeared, eyes shiny, face pulled tight. "Waverly, do not embarrass us." I took a slow sip of water. "I am not embarrassing you. I am cooperating." My mother stared, thrown off balance. She had spent years dismissing me as emotional, dramatic, too sensitive. Calm did not fit the story she told about me. My father leaned closer, voice low. "Good. Then you will talk sense into your daughter. She needs to stop being so. He paused, searching for a word that would not sound cruel out loud, so behind. Behind, like she was chasing a bus everyone else had already boarded. I tilted my head, sure, Dad. Then I asked the question that made his confidence wobble. Why Ridgeview? My father blinked, because it is excellent. I smiled gently. I am sure. I just wonder why that one specifically when there are others closer to us. Rowan jumped in too fast. It is prestigious. I nodded. Interesting. Because I handled a claim last year involving Ridgeview, a lawsuit, an employee dispute. It can be messy when an institution is tied to family finances. Rowan's face tightened for half a second. A micro crack, a tell. My father scoffed. That is not relevant. I lifted my eyebrows as if I agreed. You are right. It is probably nothing. But I saw Rowan press her fingertips to her necklace, twisting it once, a nervous habit I had watched her do since we were kids. She only did it when she was hiding something. I excused myself and walked toward the coat room. My hands were steady, but my stomach felt like it was full of nails. Noel met me there, eyes still pink. She clutched the letter again. Mom, is this bad? I took the letter and scanned it properly this time, heart pounding. It was not an invitation to apply. It was an acceptance. A full scholarship, travel and housing included. A summer research program for young students with demonstrated innovation in environmental science. My throat closed. Noel watched my face. Is it good? I crouched to her level and held her shoulders. It is incredible. It is you. It is your work being seen by people who actually understand what it means. Her lips trembled, but Grandpa said I am dumb. I swallowed hard. Grandpa said something cruel because Grandpa only respects things he can brag about. This, I tapped the letter gently, is real. She stared at the seal like it might disappear. So I am not dumb. I kissed her forehead. You are brilliant, and you are brave, and you are not going anywhere you do not choose. She whispered, what if they make me? I stood up slowly, feeling the calm settle over me like armor. They cannot make you do anything without me signing off, and I am not signing anything. Noel took a shaky breath. Okay. I opened my purse and pulled out my keys. Then I did one more quiet thing. I took a photo of the acceptance letter, front and back. Then I forwarded it to my work email and saved it in a folder labeled Noel Future. Not dramatic, not emotional, just safe. As we walked toward the exit, Rowan appeared like a shadow, smile pasted on. Leaving already. Noel clutched my hand. I squeezed back, steady. I kept my tone polite. She is tired. Rowan glanced at the letter in Noel's hand, then looked away too fast. That program, she said lightly, is probably just a cute summer camp. Noel flinched. I smiled at Rowan. It is not cute. It is selective. Rowan laughed, but it sounded thin. Well, Delilah will still have the house. I did not argue. I did not defend. I just nodded like I accepted her version of reality. Okay, I said. We stepped into the parking lot. The air was cold enough to sharpen everything. Noel climbed into the passenger seat and buckled up without being asked, like she was used to doing what was required to avoid trouble. I started the car. My phone buzzed. A text from Rowan. Do not show up Monday. Dad will not like it. I stared at the screen for a long second. Then I did the quietest revenge I knew. I took a screenshot. Then another. Then I forwarded them to myself, time-stamped. Noel turned her head. Mom, what are you doing? I put the car in drive. I am letting them think I am cooperating. She frowned. Why? Because when people think you are quiet, they get careless, and careless people leave evidence. We pulled out onto the road. The country club faded behind us, all lights and laughter and fake love. Noel stared out the window. Mom, are you mad at me? My heart cracked again. No, baby, I am mad for you. She whispered, what happens now? I tightened my grip on the steering wheel, feeling the plan form, clean and sharp. Now, I said softly, we make sure the lawyer hears every word they said tonight. from their own mouths. I drove home with my jaw clenched so tight it ached, but my voice stayed soft for Noel. Inside, I was doing what I do at work when a storm hits. I was building a file. Dates, names, exact phrases. The kind of file that does not care who is charming at parties. At home, I made cocoa and turned on a calm cartoon, something familiar. Noel sat curled on the couch, the acceptance letter on her lap like it was a fragile bird. "Mom," she whispered, "what if they come here?" "If they do," I said, "you do not open the door. You come to me." She nodded, then she hesitated. "Are you going to fight them?" I looked at her, really looked. My child had learned to measure love by how quiet she could be. I brushed her hair back. "I am going to protect you, quietly, completely." After she went to bed, I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop open and my phone beside it. I typed the word Ridgeview Preparatory and my sister's name into a search bar, not for gossip, but for patterns. Then I searched the name of the trust attorney my father had mentioned at a previous holiday, a man he once called a genius while slicing turkey like he was a king. I found a clue in a boring place, a PDF newsletter from Ridgeview's Alumni Association. My sister's husband, Graham, was listed as a donor, not just a donor, a board member. My hands went still. That was why Ridgeview. The trust was not about Delilah's future. It was about Rowan's access. A boarding school tie meant contracts, donations, influence. It meant doors that opened for her family while my daughter got labeled and managed. I scrolled further and found a photo from a fundraiser. My father was in the background, smiling beside the headmaster, holding a drink like he belonged there. I took screenshots, clean, time-stamped, saved. Then I opened my recorder app and played back the audio from the hallway. Rowan's voice, crisp and casual, saying my name like a problem. My mother whispering about me exploding. That little laugh, the one that made my skin crawl. I did not edit it. I did not dramatize it. I saved it exactly as it was. The next morning, I called a family law attorney my coworker had used during a custody dispute. Her name was Colette, and she spoke the way a surgeon moves. Precise, unemotional, deadly when necessary. When Colette answered, I did not rant. I gave facts. "My parents are trying to force my 12-year-old into boarding school," I said. They publicly called her dumb. They are using a trust as leverage. They are positioning a lawyer meeting for Monday. I have audio. I have texts. I have proof of conflict of interest. There was a pause. Then Colette said, "Good. Do not confront them. Do not threaten. Let them show their hand." My stomach twisted. That was what I had already decided to do. Hearing it from her made it real. Colette told me to send everything, and she told me to write one short message to my father before Monday. Nothing emotional, nothing accusatory. "Just this," she said. "Confirm the meeting in writing and confirm the topic." So I did. "Dad," I texted. "I will attend the meeting Monday regarding the trust and the proposed boarding school condition. Please confirm the time and the attorney's name." He replied within minutes. 10 o'clock, Attorney Maxwell, be mature. Mature, like cruelty was adult and pain was childish. I screenshotted that too. On Monday morning, I took Noel to school myself. She held my hand in the parking lot longer than usual, like she could feel something shifting. When I walked her to the front office, her counselor stepped out, a woman named Seela who always spoke to Noel like her thoughts mattered. Seela glanced at me and lowered her voice. "Noel told me what happened at the party," she said gently. "Are you okay?" I took a breath. I am handling it. But I need a note on file that the school is aware my daughter has dyslexia, receives support, and is thriving. Seela nodded without hesitation. "Of course. And if anyone tries to frame her as incapable, we will correct that." I felt something loosen in my chest. Not relief, power, the quiet kind that comes from allies. At 10 o'clock, I walked into Attorney Maxwell's office with Colette beside me and a folder in my hand. I wore a neutral blouse and my work face, the one that says I can listen all day and still win. My parents were already seated. My father looked irritated. My mother looked like she had been crying, but her posture was stiff, defensive. Rowan sat next to them with a glossy smile, legs crossed, like she was waiting for a verdict that favored her. Attorney Maxwell stood when he saw me. His eyes flicked to Colette, and the air in the room changed. "Waverly Hart," he said, surprised. "I did not realize you were the Waverly Hart." I blinked once. He recognized me. I had handled a claim years ago involving one of his clients. I had caught forged documents and saved his client from a fraud charge. He had thanked me back then, called me sharp. Rowan noticed the shift and sat up straighter, suddenly tense. "We began," Attorney Maxwell said, and his tone was no longer cozy toward my parents. It was professional. My father launched into his plan: the trust, the lake house, the condition, Ridgeview, discipline, the right environment. I let him talk. I did not interrupt. I watched Attorney Maxwell's pen slow when my father said the trust would be controlled by my parents until adulthood, with discretion to withhold if the beneficiary did not comply. Then my mother added, softly, "She is not like Delilah. She struggles. We have to be realistic." Colette turned her head slightly toward me, a silent question. "Are you ready?" I nodded. I placed my folder on the table and slid a single printed page forward. It was a transcript. Not everything, just one clean section, typed exactly as spoken. Rowan laughed quietly. She always tries to keep the peace. And Noel is not exactly a threat, is she? Then another line. "Once it is signed, Victoria cannot do anything." Attorney Maxwell looked up. "What is this?" "A transcript from an audio recording made in a public venue," I said calmly. "I recorded it because I suspected coercion." My father's face drained. My mother's mouth opened and shut. Rowan snapped, "You cannot use that." Colette spoke for the first time, voice even. "We can, and we will if this proceeds. We also have written confirmation of the meeting purpose and text messages discouraging attendance." Rowan went very still. Attorney Maxwell flipped to the next page in my folder. This one was not about feelings. It was about governance. A printed copy of the Ridgeview alumni newsletter listing Graham as a board member. My parents stared at it like it was written in a foreign language. Attorney Maxwell exhaled slowly. "So there is a family connection to the institution tied to the trust condition." Rowan swallowed. "That is irrelevant." "It is not irrelevant," Attorney Maxwell said, and his voice sharpened. "It is a potential conflict, and it suggests the condition benefits someone other than the child." My father slammed his palm on the table. "This is ridiculous." I did not flinch. I leaned forward, hands folded. "My daughter has dyslexia," I said. "She is not incapable. She is not dumb. She is accepted into an advanced summer research program with full scholarship because her science work stood out. The only thing holding her back has been the way this family talks about her." My mother's eyes filled. "We did not know." "You did not want to know," I said, still calm. "You chose a label because it was convenient." Rowan tried again, softer now. "Waverly, you are overreacting." That was her favorite word, the one she used to make me smaller. Colette replied, and her tone was polite enough to cut. "My client is reacting appropriately to attempted control through financial coercion. The trust, as described, is a tool of compliance, not a gift." Attorney Maxwell set his pen down. "I will not draft a condition tying a minor's education to a discretionary trust controlled by parties who have demonstrated bias and hostility. Not with this evidence. Not with a recorded statement calling a child dumb." My father stared like he had been slapped. My mother started crying for real this time. "Please, we just wanted what is best." I looked at her and felt something surprising. Not pity, clarity. "If you want what is best," I said, "then you stop trying to own her future." Attorney Maxwell continued, and his voice was firm. "If you wish to establish a trust, it must be structured without coercive conditions, with independent administration, and with equal consideration. Otherwise, you risk a legal dispute that will not go the way you think." Rowan looked at my father, panic flickering. "Dad." My father looked at her, and for the first time I saw it. The invisible contract between them. He had promised her something, and now it was slipping. My mother reached across the table toward me. "Waverly, we are sorry. We truly are." I held her gaze. "A trust does not fix what you said. But here is what you can do. You will apologize to Noel in person. One apology, no excuses, no comparisons. And you will learn what dyslexia actually is. Not pretend. Learn." My father swallowed hard. "And if we do that?" "You do it because it is right," I said. "Not because you want access to my child again." The meeting ended with Attorney Maxwell refusing their plan, and my parents leaving with their pride bruised and their control broken. Rowan walked out without looking at me, her shoulders tight, like she had just realized her little game had rules. That night, Noel sat at the kitchen table doing a science worksheet, tongue peeking out in concentration. She glanced up at me. "Did they win?" she asked softly. I knelt beside her. "No, baby, they did not." She hesitated. "Did I?" I smiled and tucked her hair behind her ear. "You already did. You kept going when they tried to shrink you." A week later, a card arrived. Handwritten, my parents' names. The apology was clumsy, emotional, full of regret. They called Noel brilliant. They admitted they were wrong. Noel read it slowly, finger tracking the lines, and she did not cry this time. She set it down and looked at me. "I am not going back there," she said. I nodded. "You do not have to." She took a breath, then pulled out her phone. She had an email open, and she angled it toward me with a shy smile. The program had sent her schedule, lab groups, mentors, a welcome message that used her name like it mattered. I hugged her, and I felt the final twist settle into place, quiet and perfect. My parents had tried to buy a legacy, but my daughter had already earned one, and the only thing she needed from me was permission to believe it. I watched Noel walk upstairs with her laptop tucked under her arm, taller than she had been at the party, and I realized the truth my family never understood. They did not get to decide who my child became, because the moment they called her dumb, they lost the right to be part of her brilliant life.